Explore the world of diversity at ZEE with ZEE's DEI Digest 2.0.
Hello everybody, how are you doing? You're catching me, Ahalya, on a brand new podcast in our series, ZEE's DEI Digest 2.0. The second season is in full swing, and today we're switching gears. We're talking about a brand new theme. This one is called Practice of Inclusion. You know, on the podcast, it's all about really understanding and exploring the practices of diversity, equity, and inclusion within the ZEE context. But when it comes to all three of those priorities, without practice, right, it doesn't really mean much. So we're going to take a look at exactly how ZEE goes about this, and to help us understand some of that is Priyanka Dubey, Senior Vice President, Human Resources, who's also very keenly involved with the art of practicing recognition and encouraging that within the organization. Hi Priyanka, how are you doing?
Hi Ahalya, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much for joining us. Very excited about this conversation as well. To kick things off, Priyanka, why don't we take a look at two key initiatives, right, that have been started within ZEE. That is ZEE Olympics and Cheers for Peers. I've heard a lot about them, but I'd like to get your thoughts on how the inception came about and how they've been put in practice.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Ahalya, first of all. And let me just begin this with a little context here. In our endeavor of creating a unified recognition framework at ZEE, we have designed and launched these two tech-enabled recognition programs called ZEE Olympics and Cheers for Peers. And quite often we use words recognition and appreciation interchangeably. But there is a difference between them, let me tell you, because recognition is more about giving positive feedback based on the performance. And, it's more structured in nature, and on the other hand, appreciation is about acknowledging a person's inherent values and saying thank you for a task done or a help extended. And with that distinction in mind, both of these programs were designed and, from the ground up to ensure that recognition and gratitude became a part of everyday culture at ZEE. Now, let me just begin with ZEE Olympics first, as you asked what exactly it is. As the name exhibits, it is inspired from Olympics and consists of 5 rings that signifies competency. The program is designed keeping in mind the spirit of a sports person to play and win as individual or as team. Our ZEE Olympics program is based on our competency framework, where 3% of the workforce that demonstrates that competency-led behaviors to drive their business outcomes or their goals get rewarded each quarter. And that is what, it makes this program so aspirational, and it inspires employees to set their, set higher individual benchmarks for themselves. So that's ZEE Olympics, which is a quarterly recognition program that we have.
Right. Okay.
To talk about Cheers for Peers, as the name signifies, cheering a peer, a co-worker or a team member who has enabled the other team member to achieve their professional goals or any specific assignment. And this program is instant way of appreciating each other at workplace. And through this, employees can recognize each other for demonstrating desired competencies using different badges which are available on the C4P platform. And our Cheers for Peers program is equipped as a self-managed wallet system, which is easily accessible on ZEE intranet portal, that's ZEE Connect, or as well as on Microsoft Teams. The app works on a real-time basis. In the beginning of in the beginning of the financial year, each employee's C4P wallet is credited with 10 badges, and wherein each badge is 100 badge points, through which the employee can reward their peers, team members across the organization, and the collected badge points can be redeemed on our redemption platform. So this is ZEE Olympics and Cheers for Peers.
Wow, that is really cool and very out of the box thinking, I must add, Priyanka. It's not often that you come across initiatives like this within the organization, and I'm sure that the culture within ZEE has something to do with, facilitating this kind of thought as well, right? And that's something that I do want to talk about, the culture aspect of it all. What do you think is the link between appreciation or recognition, the stuff you work so closely with, and inclusion for you? Do you think both of those, are connected in some way?
Absolutely, Ahalya, and that's a very, very good question, I must say. Yes, we need to connect the dots between appreciation and inclusion in the organization. The relationship between these two is very symbiotic, And in fact, where there is a strong recognition culture, a strong commitment to inclusion also exists. Appreciation goes hand in hand with inclusion at workplace, And like both of our recognition programs are inclusive in nature, that enable creating a sense of belonging, celebrate diverse contributions, perspectives, and the success of individuals across geographies, levels, genders are celebrated on both the platforms. And that is what it fosters, a culture of shared belief and values. So definitely, I believe a transparent and empowered recognition program also drives inclusiveness in the organization.
Right, absolutely. I think that's a very valuable thought. And tell me something, as Senior Vice President Human Resources, I'm sure you do feel quite rewarded and happy yourself, right, when these initiatives are recognized. And I heard that you actually won something called the Titan Award, you and the team, for these initiatives. So tell us a little bit about that recognition and how it made you feel.
Yes. So recently we have been awarded with Titan Business Awards. It is actually a prestigious international award platform that honors the efforts of, entrepreneurs and organizations around the world. Entries ranging across, multiple categories such as marketing, customer service, PR or HR or IT, they and others participate each year in these awards. For last financial year, Titan Business Awards had received more than 1,000 plus entries across categories, participating from across globe, and which were evaluated by their esteemed jury. While competing with these 1,000 plus entries across categories, ZEE won a gold for the best rewards and recognition category for undertaking an innovative approach and successful adoption for these two programs across the organization. Yeah, so we were quite excited about it.
That's lovely. And also Titan Award, it has quite a weight to it, feels really substantial.
Yes.
When I read about it, I was like, wow, this is very fancy.
Thank you.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to talk about right now are actually the platforms available to people, right, when it comes to actually being able to practice inclusion, and also the recognition platforms. So are all of these kind of designed to be only for individual contributors, or can, any member of the organization sort of log on and explore, even senior members, for example?
So Ahalya, our ZEE Olympics program is a quarterly recognition program which is based on nomination, where a team manager or the HOD nominates employee to be a ZEE Olympian. But the Cheers for Peers program is, absolutely, it is inclusive across levels and functions. And in fact, I would request the leadership team to leverage the C4P platform to appreciate people in their own or cross-functional teams. So it is for everyone.
Okay, perfect. So I think that speaks also to, its ability to be inclusive, right? Which is so important. And finally, as someone who is so involved, one, with HR, that is, kind of the backbone of an organization, as we've noticed in the past couple of years, and also someone who is, so involved with inclusion practices and recognition practices, what is the one piece of advice you'd like to give everyone listening in today, about actually just capitalizing and seizing this opportunity when it comes to recognizing each other?
Yeah, so Ahalya, an inclusive workplace culture with appreciation and recognition has always been an imperative part of any organization ecosystem. And we understand that culture that embraces and celebrates differences also produces amplified results. And in fact, we believe that inclusiveness that drives both of our programs, C4P and ZEE Olympics at ZEE, is part of the reason why that we have been so successfully adopted in the ecosystem, because of their inclusivity. And so let's have an inclusive mindset at the workplace, I would say. And I would also suggest that let's not wait to appreciate someone for the good work done. Please visit the C4P app on MS Teams and give the badge now. The platform is easy and inclusive, and everyone should make the most of it. So let's spread cheers for our peers.
Let's spread cheers for our peers. I think that's such a great message to end this conversation on, Priyanka. Thank you so very much for coming on air and really spreading the positivity and, also giving us an insight into why recognition is so important, folks. If you're listening and paying good attention, please go ahead and recognize all of the people that you work with and in turn also recognize your hard work. It's very important to keep going every single day. Thanks once again, Priyanka.
Thank you, Ahalya.
And, to exemplify the goodness of programs like this within the ZEE universe, we actually spoke to some people about the Cheers for Peers program, got their thoughts on what it means to be a part of a program like this and why it's so important to have it around. So listen in, here's what they had to say.
Cheers for Peers is awesome because of a few reasons which I feel. One of this is it gives an opportunity to instantly recognize your peers, your fellow peers in your organization, in your department or anywhere.
This feels good. A pat on the back feels good. And since we are all working in silos, it's even more important to encourage our colleagues who are working equally hard.
One such believer, like many of us, that these tough times have taught us many lessons. And one of them being in gratitude to the people who are making things better and easier for your daily working.
I personally love this as it gives each one of us an opportunity to directly value our peers and create a culture of appreciation within the organization.
Rewarding our performance will keep us motivated and helps to maintain a positive attitude at work. It is like receiving a direct message that we matter to the company.
And everyone, stay tuned. This was one conversation under the theme of practicing inclusion. We will be back on ZEE's DEI Digest 2.0 with another conversation along the same lines, equally interesting. So catch you in a while.
Explore the world of diversity at ZEE with ZEE's DEI Digest 2.0.